Hi, this is Miss Park, and this lesson is about something that's new in grade 11 trigonometry that we didn't study in grade 10 applied, and that is the sine law. Okay, so the sine law is something that we use when we can't use SOHCAHTOA. So you'll recall that when we have right angle triangles, which is what we've had so far, our tool that we use all the time is SOHCAHTOA, sine, cosine, and tangent trig ratios. Okay. When we don't have a right angle triangle, so non-right angle triangle, we can't use SOHCAHTOA because there's no hypotenuse, right? There's no 90 degrees and there's no hypotenuse. So we have a different tool that we use called sine law. So if you look at this triangle, it's got angles A, B, and C. And then across from each angle, you'll see a small letter. So across from angle A is this little a, and across from angle B is this little b, and across from angle C is this little c. And those are the side lengths, the length of the side that's across from that angle. And the sine law says that if you take sine of angle A and divide that by the length of little a, that's going to be equal to the sine of angle B divided by the length little b. And that's also equal to the sine of angle C divided by the length little c. So those ratios, those fractions, are equal to each other. And we're going to use the sine law to help us solve for things that we don't know when the triangle is not a right angle triangle. Another flavor of the sine law is the second one over here, where you see the little letters on top and then the angles on the bottom. But I think you're going to find I usually use this one, and even though it's exactly the same thing. All right, so let's do an example. I'm just going to scroll down. So this booklet is on your Google Classroom and all filled in, so you can refer to that after the video. Okay, so let's use the sine law to find an angle. So I'm going to use the sine law to find angle F. Okay, so I'm going to write over here, find angle F. Okay, so remember what the sine law says? It says that the sine of angle F divided by the little side f equals other stuff. So in order to fill in the sine law, we need to label the triangle. So across from big angle F is little side little f. Across from big G is side little g. And across from big E is side little e, but really little e is not involved here, right? Big E and little e are not involved in the question. They're not given and nobody's asking for them, so they're not involved. So I'm just going to set up my equation just using angle F, little f, then the ones that are given. So sine big G divided by little g, right? Notice it's exact same formula as up here, except up here it was ABC, and here it's EFG. And E, we don't care because it's not involved in the question. So now I'm going to go sine F divided by 21 equals sine 52 degrees divided by 25. All right, and when we have a fraction equal to another fraction, that's called a proportion statement. And the way we solved it in the past is with SOHCAHTOA, we had like a 1. We had a 1 in the denominator. We did cross multiply. So we'll do the same thing here. So let me write cross multiply. Same thing here. 25 sine F equals 21 sine 52. And now I want to get F alone, but F is stuck inside this sine. It's part of sine F. So I can't get rid of it yet, but I can get rid of the 25. So the opposite of multiplying by 25 is dividing by 25. So I will divide both sides by 25. Okay, and then that gives me sine F is equal to 21 sine 52 over 25, because these 25s here will cancel out. Okay, and now, just like with SOHCAHTOA, if we know the sine of the angle, but we don't know the angle, then to undo the sine, and so that we can get the angle, we use inverse sine. So F is equal to the sine inverse or inverse sine of 21 sine 52 degrees divided by 25. Now this number that's in my bracket here can all go into the calculator all at once. So into your calculator, type inverse sine, open bracket, 21 times sine 52 divided by 25, close bracket. So I'm going to do that on my calculator. And you know that when you're using your phone, the steps are a little different. So we can discuss that in class if you're using a phone. And I get that angle F is approximately 41.4 degrees. Okay, and that's using the sine law. All right, so let's do another example where we want to find a missing side. So example 2, using the sine law to find a missing side. So let's say the missing side that I want is this one. Let's say I want to find little e. Okay, find side little e. So we want to set up the sine law. I know that the sine of big E divided by little e is going to equal to, so now I have to find another pair. I know big E is 67 degrees. Little e I don't know, so I want that. But then this other pair, this other fraction I'm going to make it equal to, I need to know both of those numbers. Because if I don't have both of those numbers, I won't be able to solve the equation. Right? When we set up the equation, it's got 4 parts. We need to know 3 of the parts, right? Look over here. There's 4 parts, but 3 of them have to be known. Because if you don't have the other 3, you can't solve for the 4th one. So I need to find now some pair of an angle and a side that are given to me. But across from angle F, there's no side given. And across from angle G, there's 18, but we don't know angle G. So I don't know what to put in my other fraction. So what we do is we use something that we tend to forget sometimes, but it's handy. And that is this measure of G, we can get it because the sum of the angles in a triangle is 180 degrees. So therefore G is equal to 180 minus 67 minus 72. And so you put that in the calculator, 180 minus 67 minus 72, and we get 41 degrees. So now for my other fraction, I'll use the G's. I won't use the F's because I don't have the little f. So I'll use the G's because I have big G and I have little g. So now sine 67 degrees over little e equals sine 41 degrees over 18. Cross multiply, e sine 41 equals 18 sine 67. E times this number, sine 41. Sine 41 is just some number. So if I want to undo that and get e alone, I can divide by that number. But I must do it to both sides. So little e becomes, so the sine 41s cancel out, and little e is 18 sine 67 degrees over sine 41 degrees. And this goes into the calculator all at once. 18 sine 67 divided by sine 41. And I get 25.3. So approximately 25.3 centimeters. So notice previous question, my answer was finding a missing angle. So my answer was in degrees. This one is finding a missing side. It's little e. So my answer is in centimeters. And finally, this question here says use the sine law to solve a non-right angle triangle. The word solve means find all missing sides and angles. Okay, so we can find angle Q, we can get this one. So Q is 180 minus 26 minus 56, which is 180 minus 26 minus 56, and that's 98 degrees. And then we can, let's label the triangle. This is a little s, this is a little r, and this is a little q. So find the sides using the sine law. Okay, so you just set up the proportions, that fraction equals fraction statement according to the sine law. And then you'll be able to solve for the other sides. Okay, those are your examples. So this whole thing is in Google Classroom filled in, so please refer to it and do the practice. Thank you.